Have you been on a date recently? Who paid for the date? You paid for the date or the guy paid for the date? What really happened? Tell us. We want to hear everything. Hello and welcome to Future Husband Diaries. My name is Maya Onesis Banda and I hope that you've been having a great time wherever you are. And as usual, for the woman who's actually been healing with us, who's been journaling with us, who's been praying with us, welcome home. And for those who are new, like, subscribe, share it with other people, enjoy the community, and make sure that you join in the conversation and we actually hear what you have to say. And let's talk about it and learn more about what it is that you're supposed to date or supposed to do when you're dating, when you're single. And yeah, as a woman, as a Christian woman, what are the parameters that I can look to? And what are the things that I can do? What are the things that will affect me? The things that will not affect me? What are the things that will help me heal in such a way that at the end of the day, I'm actually the best version of myself? Not looking towards a specific purpose or word, but what is it that will make me a better version of myself at this point in my life? At this point in your life, we want to grow and build ourselves to be better versions of ourselves. And in order for us to actually heal, we have to look back into all the other things that have affected us along the way and how we can heal from them, and all the things that we need to do in order for us to keep on healing and becoming, best versions of ourselves. So today I wanted us to talk about this, the money question. Yes, the money question. Is it provision when someone pays for the date? Is it something that will be like, okay, he's a provider, or what? Is he expected to do that? Am I supposed to expect him to do that? Because there's so many different versions of it all, where we're like, I'm a strong, empowered black woman. I can do it all. I can pay for my own date. We can go Dutch. Oh, he is a strong provider. What is it that is going to happen? So let's navigate and look into it. The dating scene is really something that we really should be looking into. When you're dating someone, when you're looking into how the social media has portrayed it, a man should be masculine. A man should, that thing people always saying, a man should, a real man does this, a real man opens the door, a real man pays for the date, a real man does this, So now, I'm asking, is he masculine or is he not masculine if he doesn't pay for the date? What is it that should happen? It's not only about money, when they're now looking into it. It's about a lot of things that are, the whole interests that have to do with the relationship. So when it comes to all of those things, am I willing to step back and let him take over and lead in the whole process of it all? A lot of us women, we have been empowered. We have had, there are some who have had strong maternal people in their back, who have been teaching them how to be a strong woman. You shouldn't depend on a man. You should make your own money. You should do this and do that and do that. A lot of women are now empowered and they can do all of those things. And then when it gets to a date, and I feel like I'm being what is it? I don't know what the word is, but I feel like someone is not really taking me seriously if they're saying, no, don't worry, I'll pay for the date. And then at the same time, men have been told this is what men should do, this is what men should do. At the end of the day, a man just feels emasculated when a woman pays for the date. Right? So what is it that should happen? A lot of those things, it has to do with social media trends and cultural bases. Those are the things that really affect us the most. For most of the times when it comes to culture, in the African setup culture, most of the times men lead, men do this, men pay most of the times. And then we get to the Christian setup. It's also like men are the providers, men are the heads, and all of those things. Those are the things that we have been growing up with. Now we are starting an era where women aren't being told that they can do things, all the things that men can do. But then at the same time, when it comes to this, it becomes like a blurry issue. Now you do not know which part you should belong to. Am I not being empowered if I let a man pay for the date? Or the man is now feeling emasculated if I pay for the date? At the end of the day, it becomes like a subtle thing in that relationship that hangs over the relationship, where people are always saying 50-50. And I was seeing this video which is talking about how was it Gabriela Union? I'm not so sure. She was talking about how in a relationship it was like 50-50. If the man pays for this, she pays for this. If the man pays for this, she pays for this. And then a few months, or was it a few years later, she comes back into another podcast and she's talking about how she will not allow how 50-50 doesn't work in a relationship. And then you'll be like, okay, so now what is it that we should do? Please tell us. 50-50, 100, 0, 60-40, which is the right percentage for us to look. So now, what I think, please don't quote me on this. What is that thing where people be like, disclaimer alert? Yes, disclaimer alert. Please do not quote me on this. I'm not an expert when it comes to how relationship people should go Dutch or not go Dutch. I don't think there's anyone who's an expert in that. It doesn't matter whether you're an expert in finances, expert in relationship. But, okay, so when it comes to this, what is it that I think is, what is it that I believe? Yes, that's the right word. What is it that I believe? I believe that when it comes to the cultural expectations, there's a lot of cultural expectations that men have to be the providers. Not only just cultural in terms of being African, and it's also, there's a lot of expectation on being Christian, where we are told, or where every single time it's always men are the providers. And in order for them to show that they are providers in our culture, what men are expected to do, they're expected to pay lobola as a way of showing that they can financially sustain me as a woman. In order for them, it's sort of like a financial guarantee that they are able to take care of him. That's the only time that the parents agree that the relationship can take place, or the marriage can actually take place. That is how the cultural expectation has been like. Cultural expectation, there's a lot of those traditional men that are there. And to them, in order for them to show your parents, they have to pay lobola, right? But then at the same time, if they have to show you that they are financially independent, they have to pay for the days, they have to pay for all the things. And it doesn't really end there. We have now made modern dating into sort of like a little bit different from when it was before, because now I am staying in a flat where my rent is this much and this much and this much. My hair has to be done. My nails have to be done. All of the things have to be done. And if you really do not believe me that the cultural expectation it really is like that, is most of the times if you are dating someone and people look at your hair and be like, your hair is not done. Why is your hair not done? Don't you have a man? There is that cultural expectation that has come up where men are expected to take care of the woman just from the dating stage. Even if it's dating, courtship, marriage, they are all expected to do that. And in order for them to show that they're financially stable, or they can actually take care of me, they have to do all the things that I used to do when I was single. The things that I used to pay for my own rent, I used to pay for my own dates, I used to pay for my own dinner, I used to do my own hair, I used to do all the things that I was able to do. But now, because I'm in a relationship, there is that expectation that I have as a woman, the society has, and the man actually has. So for him, he'll be like, when he's looking at it, before he approaches me, he'll be like, her lifestyle I can afford, so therefore I can be able to date her. But then he'll be like, her lifestyle I cannot afford, therefore I'll not be able to approach her. So at the end of the day, like, men are expected to do all the things. And then there is this thing where we're like, woman's money is just for her own things, for her to do all the things that she wants. And then a man is expected just from dating to take care of everything. The rent, it's not just dates that's what it has come to. It has come to like rent, it has come to girlfriend allowances, it has come to all the things that is expected to maintain me at a level which is a little bit higher than the level that I was at. So then this has the way I understand how all of this came about. This was a way for men to actually show that they are financially responsible and they can take care of me. So like, okay, he can take care of me, so therefore we can go into the next stage with the marriage part because he can actually take care of me. So to show that he is a provider. I understand that part, which is good. He was to show that he was a provider, and that is good. But then now with the modern dating, it has actually been taken into an extra mile. It has been taken with an extra mile, which is now not a little bit healthy. With that, in such a way that now I expect he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. Now I expect my rent to be sent in on the first of the month. I expect my bills to be covered in first of the month. I expect my hair to be covered twice a month. I expect him to do that. And if he doesn't do that, therefore I'm angry at him because he's not doing the things that he's supposed to be doing to show that he is the person that I'm in a relationship with. That is where I start to have a problem with it when it comes to modern dating. If the man is doing it out of the goodness of his heart, if he is not going out of his way and living in a life which is outside his means and providing for you, that is perfect. If he is paying your rent, if he's paying your bills, if he's giving you money, if he's doing all of these things because he can afford to, he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart, then that is a good thing. That is what I believe. And if he's doing all of this, is giving you the girlfriend allowance out of the goodness of his heart for him, because this is actually making him feel more masculine, making him feel like he's providing for you, and making him feel like he can be the breadwinner and offer you all the help that you need in your life at this point in your life. But then, if he is doing it out of obligation now, that is a different kind of issue. If he's doing it out of obligation, or you the one who's forcing him to actually do that, therefore then that starts to be a problem. Where you expect him to do that and you're forcing him to do that because as a way to say, if you love me, you will show me your love through paying for my rent. You show me by giving me how much money I need for my girlfriend allowance, and he's doing it begrudgingly. Therefore, that is a relationship red flag. Then that is a problem in a relationship just from the get-go, whether you've been dating and before you even get into a marriage, you know that you're going to have problems with your finances. Because you're not really talking about it. You are expecting him to do something and he's doing it begrudgingly, and he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He's not doing it because he wants to, and now he feels like in order for him to actually keep you, he has to keep on doing these things. But he doesn't want to do it. If he is given an out, he actually take the out and actually move on from that space. Therefore, that is a problem. So now, how do you determine whether this person paying for the dates, giving you the money to do your hair, giving you the money to do the things, buying you clothes, all of those things, how do you determine whether this person is doing it out of the goodness of the heart or they're just doing it out of obligation? You need to have a conversation with the guy. So many times we expect, because I was in a relationship with someone and this person did this and this and this and that, I expect that all my relationships will be the same. You need to have a conversation. Remember, you are in a relationship with this person. You're not in a relationship with the last boyfriend that you had, but you're in a relationship with this person. Talk about your finances. And it's never too early for you guys to talk about your finances. Learn how much he earns, whether it's in his business, whether it's in his job or using his hustle, whichever way. Learn about how much. And then you guys come together, you bring in your money, he brings in his money, look at the finances, look at the things that you can afford to do together, the things that you can afford to do on your own, things that he can afford to do on his own, and then be willing to talk about it. Be like, I know I earn this much, and I know I have this, and I also have this much debt, or I have this much blah, 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 blah. Those are the things that I like to keep in my life. And he says that he has his own whatever amount that he has, and then at the end of the day you talk about it and then come to an understanding. The both of you be like, okay, so with this much I can afford, then the guy will be like, tell you, I can afford to give you this much, I can afford to do this for you, I can afford, or I would like to do this for you. And then that way you do not feel like you are being that someone is not, you do not feel like I'm not empowered enough, I'm not, I'm a strong black girl, I can afford to do all of these things. Yes, you can afford, but if he wants to do it for you and it makes him feel better and emasculated, let him do it for you, right? Let him do it for you, but do not expect him and then force him to do things for you that he can, even though he can afford, but he's not willing to do it. So all the things, we have this thing where we sort of like look into finances and think they are taboo to talk about it, even when you are not still in the courtship stage. If you're still in the courtship stage, when you are in a relationship with someone, in a serious relationship with someone, I'm not saying talk about this when you're in a just dating phase with a person, or like maybe first date, second date, fifth date, whichever way. It's not really important at that point, right? But when you are now in a serious relationship with someone and you've been dating for some time, those are the things that you need to do. Talk about it. Those finances, they are not taboo where you actually be like, okay, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I expect you to do this. Yes, you expect him to pay your rent for you. You expect him to do this, but can he afford? Number one, because number one, you do not know the answer to that because you have never asked him how much he earns. You have never asked him how much he has, or how much debt he's in, or how much he's investing. All of those things because you've never had that conversation. That is the killer for most relationships. The reason is you do not talk about finances. I've seen it before. Like, I'm talking for experience. Yes, I'm talking for experience where you actually do not talk about finances, and then you expect that the reason this, when you're now getting into your marriage, you expect things to actually automatically change. Things will not do that. So now talk about it, have a conversation with the person, know how they feel, know what their beliefs are when it comes to money, what are the things that they're willing to do for you, what are the things you're willing to do for yourself. Talk about those things because you might have a fight over things that could have been solved if you guys could have talked about it in another situation. What is it that I'm saying? You might go to a restaurant, he pays, and then you'll be like, no, I want to pay for half. You have a fight over that, or over something that could have been resolved before, when you would have told yourself like, okay, I understand, but when it comes to dates, I feel, or I would like to pay for the dates. And then the guy will be like, okay, I'm okay with that. Or the guy will be like, no, I'm not okay with that. When we go to 4 days, I would really like to pay for that. Talk about it. We expect relationships to be these things that we bubble wrap. And then afterwards, when we get into a fight, that's when we realize that we do not have the same thoughts, we do not have the same beliefs, we do not have, and things just blow out of proportion. When all of those things could have been settled if you guys had just talked about it and had a conversation about it. Have a conversation about it early on. I'm not saying like whenever you start to become serious, like have a conversation, talk about those things, because finances are the killer to most relationships. I know. They really are. And then I think just to link back to the other episode that I was talking about, where I talked about the lobola part, where like, hey, he says lobola is too expensive. If you guys had talked about it, you wouldn't have got to a part where you'd be like, I cannot afford lobola. Because number one, you know how much he earns, you know how much he saves. Maybe you had talked about it, how much you're saving towards the lobola before you actually be like, oh, he doesn't want to marry me. So all of these things could be solved by one single just conversation. Communicate. That is the key to the relationship. That is the key to everything. Communicate and talk about it, and do not just sweep things under the rug. Like, if you don't talk about it, doesn't talk about it, then at the end of the day, what is going to happen? Nothing will be solved. I'm telling you, nothing will be solved. Things do not magically solve themselves the same way they do in romantic movies where like, oh, they never talked about it. Yes, they never talked about it because those are not real people. Those are not real relationships. So what is it that you have to do? Talk about it with the next person, and do not expect the kind of talk that you had with your previous partner to actually apply in your next relationship. Have a new talk with a new person, new conversations, new strategies, new everything. And then at the end of the day, you can be able to share and become stronger that way. Yeah. I think that's all that, this relationship guru had. This is what I had when it comes to finances. All of those things came about because I was reviewing the past relationships that I had and all the things that went wrong when it came to finances and where I could have gone wrong. So the question is, who should be paying for days, or whether you should be having California allowance or not? It all depends on the guy you're dating. There's no blanket rule for everything. Like if this person is getting 10,000 rand for their girlfriend allowance, do not expect that you also get 10,000 rand for your girlfriend allowance. But have a conversation with the person. Talk about the things. Talk about finances. Finances are not taboo. Those are things that you actually have to talk about so that you guys can have a strong relationship. Take it from me. It has ruined many, many, many relationships that I've ever had. And I can give you advice because I've looked into it. And then I'm like, okay, what is it? Where did I go wrong? Where did they go wrong? Where could I have fixed it? So that at the end of the day, next relationship, perfect. That's all that I had for you today. Like, subscribe, share it with another girl that you think will benefit from all of this finance talk. And let's meet each other next week. Have a great week. Goodbye.